Welcome to Baz Travels. After driving 14,826 kilometers through 24 states and Washington DC, I've seen rocket launches to the Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam. I've explored Route 66, ghost towns, deserts, snow, and beaches on both coasts. From Vegas casinos to Alcatraz, the White House to Hollywood. Join me for a journey of the ordinary and the extraordinary.
Loading destination. Simulation starting in 3, 2, 1. To look around, move your phone or tablet. Click and drag if on a computer or move your head if using a VR headset. Please like and subscribe.
Grant Park works because it solves problems that most growing cities never fully resolve, which is how to preserve large amounts of open space in the middle of dense urban development without the space being gradually consumed over time. Chicago made a deliberate decision early in its history to keep this lakefront area open, and that decision was reinforced through policy, planning, and continuous resistance to development pressure. The result is a large, uninterrupted public space that runs alongside the downtown core, creating a clear separation between high-density urban activity and open parklands. Within that system, the South Rose Garden represents a more controlled and structured environment that sits inside the larger open framework of Grant Park. It is not just a collection of plants, it is an example of how smaller scale designs operate within a much larger system. Rose gardens require maintenance, layout planning, and seasonal management, which means they are actively controlled spaces rather than passive landscapes. The arrangement of planting areas, pathways, and access points is designed to guide movement while maintaining the integrity of the garden itself. That introduces an important contrast. Grant Park as a whole operates as a flexible multi-use space that can handle events, large gatherings, and continuous public movement, while the Rose Garden operates at a more precise level, where structure and control are necessary to maintain its function. This latter approach is intentional. Cities often need spaces that operate at different levels of intensity, and placing a highly structured garden within a broad open park allows both systems to exist without interfering in each other. The larger park absorbs volume and movement, while the garden provides a more defined and managed environment. From a planning perspective, this also helps distribute activity. Instead of concentrating all movement into a single type of space, the park offers variation, which encourages people to spread out and reduces pressure on any one area. There is also a historical dimension to Grant Park that reinforces its importance. It has long been referred to as Chicago's front yard, which reflects the idea that this space belongs to the public and should remain accessible. That concept has influenced how the park has been protected and developed over time. What makes the system effective is that it balances openness with structure. Large areas allow freedom of movement, while smaller design spaces provide order and definition, and together they create a park that can handle both scale and detail. The underlying idea is straightforward. If a city is going to grow around a central space, that space has to be protected and designed to handle multiple uses, and Grant Park demonstrates how this can be done without losing either flexibility or control.
Simulation terminated. Please comment, like and subscribe.